Hey guys, it's been a while since we did a Fishing Friday, so welcome to Fishing Friday. And before I move on, I just put in at Steenhatchee, and I just want to give a shout out to Jody and his buddy who helped me put in, because there's no docks there yet. Anyway, the place got devastated during a hurricane. I gave Jody one of my swim baits. Hopefully he'll have good luck with it. My plan is to fish with a bunch of the more recent lures that I've made, and a couple that I made a little while ago that I haven't caught anything on film with. All right, so here's the menu for today. It's a bunch of stuff that we've made in the recent past. I even brought the mouse. And I'm going to start off with this clone of the Spook Black with a nice rattle in it. Let's see if we can scare something up. All right, I've worked myself up against this edge here. It's a grassy edge that goes all the way out, forms a point, and then goes out into the Gulf a little more. And I want to stay in here. I'm going to drift and use my trolling motor to sort of stay close to the grass. And I'm going to throw everything I got at these guys. Right now, I'm throwing a gulp just to see if anything picks it up. And I did get a flounder to pounce on it. But we got off as usual with me with flounder. I'm too quick to set the hook. And if you don't have your drag set right, hard enough, you won't get through that really hard mouth. I'm gonna go ahead and throw this beat up old fat belly with a rattle in it. Fat belly is really my go-to bait when I'm sure that it's gonna be tough fishing, especially, which it seems like it today. I'm not seeing a whole lot of action. Once we find a pattern, if that's a possibility out here, then we'll switch to one of the other baits that maybe I don't have quite the confidence in. The wind was supposed to die down to nothing this afternoon, and they were wrong. Just glad I've got those lithium batteries in there. I know I can do this for like 10 hours without even worrying about it at all. So when I'm deciding what lure to use out here on the flats, I already know the species I'm going after. And so the other things I take into consideration, one is the wind. Am I gonna need to cast into the wind? And if so, then I need something that's gonna cast a good long ways. It's got a good aerodynamic shape and that has some weight to it. Also, I'm looking at water depth. Sometimes I'm in shallow water, but I wanna run close to the bottom. And sometimes I wanna run near the top, like with this, because maybe there's oysters near the bottom. And as far as color, I typically use very similar colors out here because it's almost always like this, kind of a brown stained water. So my lure selection is really more strategic to the conditions than the fish, because I already know that I've designed my lures to work for redfish and trout. So on a day like this, I really want a lure that I can cast into the wind and still get a, halfway decent 25, 30 yard, 40 yard cast. I'm really surprised that we're not seeing any topwater hits. Breezy days like this with the water chopped up, you usually get at least chasers and half-hearted strikes at the very minimum. All right, I've switched to the bone color. Have you ever had a feeling in your stomach when you first cast a lure and you feel like, man, I'm feeling it. This one feels lucky. This one feels like it's gonna change it. And you always remember when that feeling comes true, but you never remember when nothing ever happens. So you pretty much convince yourself that you have a supernatural ability to predict what's gonna catch a fish. Man, the wind is really howling. This was not supposed to be happening. It's supposed to be 6 to 8 miles an hour. This is something like 10 to 15. All right, we hooked up. I think it's a decent little redfish. Oh man, and I'm in such shallow water, I can't turn off the trolling motor because I'll drift into the super shallows. And no, it wasn't with the topwater. It was with the jig. And I was working the jig because I couldn't get a long cast in this wind with any of my other lures. The wind is just a little too steep. This guy, I don't even think he's slop, but boy, he's got some fight in him. might just be in slot. It's kind of small. Come on, let go. That's a pretty fish. 18 inches is legal, but I like them over 20 inches. He's right at 19. I think I'm gonna let him go. Come on, dude. See if we can get this fat belly out there a little ways. Here we go. It's a little more like it. I like to fish it like walk the dog lure, just under the surface for redfish, close to shore like this. Well, if I don't get anything in here, my plan is to go ahead and run out there maybe a quarter mile, turn the motor off, and drift with the wind towards the south. And hopefully we can just drift fish for trout. Try to fish this foam line here. See if there's any bait fish hiding in there, attracting some predators. The tide should be turning and going out now. This might be that current. I think might be a big ladyfish. Ooh. Ooh. You're messing with me. Quit going around the boat. Yep. Ladyfish. And that's on the Rapala clone. Ugh. Go ahead and shake it off, girl. You don't need to come to the boat. Come on. I don't need you all over my boat. So come on. Jump and get off. If it was a nice redfish, it'd jump and get off. There it is. I almost stuck it in my face, thanks to you. All right, let's see what else is out here. That was a nice sized ladyfish. They are edible, but not exactly like top-notch cuisine. All right, let's go ahead and try the balsa wood one that we made a couple of weeks ago. It's got a bluegill pattern, but sometimes, as long as it's a deep color, you'll do all right out here. It's a high floater lure, so I'm just cranking it down to depth and giving it a few twitches and let it float a little bit. I fished this for a little while, but I was picking up too much grass and the wind was up, so I went back to the jig. All right, we hooked something. This time with the jig. I'm not sure what it is. It's a weird fight. Doesn't feel like a trout. It might have a flounder here. If it is, it's a decent one. No, maybe a bluefish. What in the world do we have? He's like really. He's heavy as heck. I don't know how he's doing it. Not sure what this is. Oof. But he's definitely pulling some drag now. Big head shakes. Oh. What in the world is this? It's not a big fish. Oof. But he thinks he is. Ooh, golly. It's like fighting like a little mini tuna. Big head shake, circles. What in the world is this thing? What the heck? Oh, look at that. It's a cobia. No wonder I couldn't figure out what it was. And it's been a long time since I caught a cobia out on the flats. There he is. Perfect hookup right in the corner of the mouth. Nice. Let's see how big he is. I think these guys get measured at the fork. They have to be 33 inches minimum. I'm measuring just for fun. Right at 23, I think. We'll see you, dude. All right, looks like the predators are down close to the bottom, so I'm gonna go back to this shrimp and see if we catch anything. That was fun. I mean, it's really rare to catch cobia in here. Of course, that was just a baby. It was 10 inches too short to be the minimum length, but fun. They fight so differently, just so different from anything else. Just had another cobia chase the shrimp right to the surface, right in front of me. It was another little baby one. I don't care. I'll catch 100 of those things. That's a lot of fun. Not sure I really want to eat a cobia anyway. I mean, I have eaten cobia, but it's not my favorite. Really trying to dial in the retrieve to get him to actually hit it, not just chase it. Oh, we had something good on. They broke us off, or came off anyway. Finally, the target species, I think, at least it feels like it. Oh yeah, definitely a little trout, probably undersized. And off. Glad he was undersized. I'm having to fish with the jig head with soft plastic on it because they just want it right up on the grass down there. Yeah, things are pretty dire when I'm catching ladyfish. Anyway, the wind has not died, and I'm still struggling to catch something worth the doggone. Look, we may have hooked another ladyfish. Kind of hard to tell. Could be no, it's a ladyfish. I'm starting to get hopeful. But I think it's a ladyfish. No, it's a little trout. Look at them. Jumping and everything. Huh. All right. Look at that. He might even be a keeper. Pretty fish. And he's 14 3/4. All right, brother. Have a good life, bro. Pretty sure they're around here. I pinned down. Let's try a hard bait because it's just more satisfying to catch on a hard bait that I made. See if they'll come closer to the top for these. Can it be that they only want something that yo-yos up and down all the way to the bottom? Hooked into something that I had to switch back to the soft plastic. Oh no, it's a skipjack. Pretty much found where they are, and they're definitely biting at the bottom, but they're not big. They're definitely not big. This is maybe 13. All right, dude, go off, have a good life. I switched to Topwater to see if I could scare anything up, and I actually ended up getting a little bit of action. Pretty aggressive swats. It might have been ladyfish, but I don't know. Could have been trout. Be ironic if I've been only catching them on the bottom and now they come to the top. And this thing really goes a mile, especially downwind. Of course, once the camera is on, no one wants to play nice. And there's something chasing it and just swirling on it. There you go. Woof! Come on, take it. There he is. Oh, he let it go. Nope, he's on now. Oh, he let it go. Oh, he's on it again. Oh, it's a doggone ladyfish. No wonder. That was exciting. That was exciting. Okay, so Topwater is just ladyfish then. We don't need any more ladyfish. Woo! Thank you for self-releasing. All right, last cast with this Topwater. I'm gonna switch to that glass shrimp because that thing really drops to the bottom pretty quickly. And maybe I can yo-yo that thing up and down through the grass and maybe scare up a bigger bite. Oof. That looks like a trout. All right, let's give that a shot. We're in about 6 feet of water, so this is kind of a bit of a trough in these really shallow flats. I'm giving it a little extra time to go to the bottom. There we go. All right. Is that the first or second cast? That was the first cast, and that is a trout. Oh yeah, absolutely that's a trout, but he's He's small and he's wickedly mad. He's about to come off. He's little though. That's okay. There we go. All right, dude. Have a good life. Grow up. That's the first like decent, well actually desirable species caught on one of my hard baits today. If we just get into a little bigger, two inches bigger, and we could take some fish home to fry. Really surprised at the consistency of these fish being only 13 to 14 inches. Usually that'll last for a little while, and then you'll start getting either another school come in that are smaller or another school that are actually keepers. But these have all been, you know, right at 13, 14 and a half. All right, hooked up on the Topwater. Let's see what it is. It feels like a nice trout, to be honest with you. It's a trout, but it's not a good one. God, that thing hit it like a freaking truck. It's just a little dude. Look at that little dude, man. 14 and a half. But I'll take it. Catching fish on Topwater. It's fun. And he took one swat and took it. There was no messing around. He hit it and was on his way home. Ooh. Come on. Ooh, got him. Oh, he let go. It's funny how their behavior changes with the way the sun is going down. So I think now they're a lot braver to come up because the sun is lower and doesn't allow the birds to see down deep. So they're not afraid to come into the surface. All right, guys, I'm gonna have to go home without catching a keeper trout, which, not that I was gonna keep it, but it was kind of a goal, pick one up. But anyway, we had a real variety of fish, caught probably 10 small trout, had that 19-inch redfish, bunch of ladyfish, and oddly, like a 24-inch cobia, which was a fun little catch. But it's time to go home. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the fishing videos, leave me a thumbs up, and don't forget, you can subscribe and see all the lures I actually make. In fact, you should click on the playlist that you see on the screen and binge watch a few. I'll see you guys on the next video.